Assalamu alaikum and a pleasant morning, girls. Hope you people are doing well. Today we are going to see a poetry, Bells for John Whiteside's Daughter by John Crow Ransom. Okay. Here we'll see the introduction about the author. John Crow Ransom, April 30, 1888 to July 3, 1974, was an American educator, scholar, literary critic, poet, essayist, and editor. He is a multi-talented personality. Okay. His occupation is not only a writer, he is a educator, scholar, literary critic, poet, essayist, as well as editor. Okay. Was born on April 30, 1888 in Pulaski, Tennessee. His father, John James Ransom, was a Methodist minister. Girls, don't bother. In this picture, you are not able to see clearly. For that, I will send you one more slides. Okay, you just listen in this, and you can match with other PDF. Is that clear, ma? Don't worry, girls. Because of some I don't know what, it is not clearly visible. So I will send you one more PDF. Okay, you listen carefully. His father, John James Ransom, was a Methodist minister. His mother was Sarah Ella Crow Ransom. He had two sisters, Annie Phillips and Ella Irene, and one brother, Richard. Okay. Is it clear, ma? Okay, then. He has written many poetry. Okay. He is well known for his criticisms. Okay, in 1920 he married Rob Reville, a well-educated woman who shared his interest in sports and games. Okay, together they raised three children, a daughter Helen and two sons David and John. Okay, he is having three children, there is one daughter and two sons. Is it clear, ma? Yes? Okay. Here he is considered to be a founder of the new criticism school of literary criticism. I told you he is a very good critic. Okay, he is considered to be a founder of the new criticism school of literary criticism. Okay, as a faculty member at Kenyon College, he was the first editor of the widely regarded Kenyon Review. Highly respected as a teacher and mentor to a generation of accomplished students, he also was a prize-winning poet and essayist. Is it clear, ma? Okay. He died on July 3, 1974 in Gambia at the age of 86. He was buried at the Kenyon College Cemetery in Gambia. Is it clear? Hope. Okay. He is John Crow Ransom. Okay, John Crow Ransom. His life and works. He primarily wrote short poems examining the ironic and unsentimental nature of life, with domestic lives in the American South being a major theme. An example of this is a southern style in his poem Janet Walking, which mixes modernist with old-fashioned country rhetoric. He was noted as a strict formalist, that is, he follows rules, regulations, okay, law, okay, strictly. Is it clear? He was noted as a strict formalist, using both regular rhyme and meter in almost all of his poems. He has used a regular rhyme and meter in almost all of his poems. Is it clear? Okay. Then we have poetry. This is poetical lines. Bell for John Whiteside's daughter. This poem is an elegy. Okay, metaphysical elegy. Metaphysical means that is a characterization. Okay, characteristics of someone. Okay, it is a elegy. Elegy, you know what? An elegy, a poem about lamenting for the death of someone. Okay, here the poet, and there is a Ransom, is lamenting and the death of a little girl. Okay, is it clear? Now we'll have the poetical lines. Just listen. Bells for John Whiteside's Daughter by John Crowe Ransom. There was such speed in her little body and such a lightness in her footfall. It is no wonder her brown study astonished us all. Her words were bruited in our high window. He looked among orchard trees and beyond, where she took arms against her shadow or hurried out unto the pond. The lazy geese, like a snow cloud, dripping their snow on the green grass, tricking and stopping, sleepy and proud, who cried in goose, alas, for the tireless heart within the little lady with rod that made them rise. From their noon, apple dreams and scuttle, goose fashion under the skies. But now go the bells, and we are ready. In one house we are sternly stopped, to say we are vexed at her brown study, lying so primly propped. Here, in this poem, he says about a little girl and his neighbor. Okay, a sudden death of the little girl, which very much astonished. That is, which he is very shocked to hear the news that the little girl was died. Okay, here he writes an elegy about that little girl. Is it clear? Okay, what are all the things he writes about her? We'll see. The poem Bells for John Whiteside's Daughter, written by John Crowe Ransom, is a metaphysical elegy. Metaphysical elegy, I told you before, that is a characterization of characteristics of one. That is a lamenting of her death. Is it clear? A community remembering John Whiteside's daughter. They remember the energy and liveliness she was filled with, but the remembrance is interrupted by the second of funeral bells for the same girl that was once filled with life not long ago. This poem is written in the modern era, more specifically in 1924. Specifically, that is very clearly exact. Okay, he is in the first three stanza. He is writing about her liveliness. Okay, is her energy. Okay, she was seen in the orchard, she was seen in the pond, and she used to play and she used to cry, she used to attract the attention of the neighbor, everything. But in the fourth and fifth stanza, when they hear the bells of the funeral, they remember that she was died. Okay, now she was lifeless. Is that clear? Okay, in the first stanza he says, diction like speed, little, and lightness imply that the subject the speaker is talking about is young or small. Lightness being used in the past tense implies there is a contrast with a stillness in the present. The phrase brown study may be referring to the famous sculpture of the thinker, which tells us that she was quite contemplative, very expressive. Okay, The speaker is still speaking in the past. The speaker is still speaking in the past tense, remembering this young girl. The speaker is revealed to be a collective of people, most likely the community, who once watched the girl from their high window as she enjoyed the outdoors. The speaker clearly says that where she took arms against her shadow, which could be an allusion to Hamlet's famous soliloquy. Okay. Here in the third stanza is a more detailed memory of geese. Ransom compares the geese to snow clouds dripping their snow on everything. The geese nose are the feathers that constantly fall off. Green grass in an alliteration that symbolizes life, which could be connected to the past liveliness of the girl. Here, geese is a water bird, a large water bird. Can you see in this picture? This is called as geese. The name of the bird is geese, and he says that that snow drips, the snow falls, and it falls in the feathers of the geese. Okay, and in the green grass. Is that clear, ma? Okay. These are all the symbolisms. Okay. That is the past liveliness of the girl. Is it clear? Okay. Then we have in the fourth stanza continues the memory of the geese, but the girl is introduced as she prods the geese with a rod that make them rise from their lazy routine. That is, she is holding a rod with her, and she says like, and with that rod she uses to make them rise and go from that one place to another place, because they are very lazy and they will only swim in the water. So she uses the rod and she makes them rise from that really lazy routine. Okay, this stanza shows that the girl was curious just like any other child that comes in contact with a creature. For example, it shows that if a child sees some bird or like a dove or chicken, they are very excited to see that creature, right? Like that, the other children, she is also very excited. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Here, the shift occurs after the fourth stanza and before the fifth stanza. Beforehand, the community was remembering the life of his young girl and how energetic she was to them, talking about how now she is lifeless and still. Now, in those four stanzas, they are talking about her liveliness and energetic, how she was very she was very alive, and she is very energetic, excited, and she does everything like what other childs are doing. Okay, like that. But that shift occurs in the fifth stanza, that now they remember that how she is lifeless and still stagnant. Okay. The word bird is an obvious sign of a shift and contrast, for the community was once remembering the energy present in this girl on hearing the bells of a funeral, creating an attitude of shock. The contrast is almost ironic, and just to point out of the connection, Ransom uses anaphora speaking of her brown study once again. Here, anaphora, that is expression of words. Okay, here the word bird, it is obvious that they were remembering her presence. Now it has changed. Okay, now she is lifeless. They are very shocked to hear the bell sounds of the funeral. Okay, it is very lamenting for them, very grief situation for them to realize that now she is no more. Okay, Now he compares that her brown study once again. That is it is about a sculpture. Okay, the thinker. Is that clear? Okay. The poem Bells for John Whiteside's Daughter, written by John Crowe's Ransom, is a metaphysical elegy. A community remembering John Whiteside's daughter, they remember the energy and liveliness she was filled with, but the remembrance is interpreted by the sound of funeral bells for the same girl that was once filled with life not long ago. The poem was written in the modern era, more specifically 1924. It is about the information of the poem, what it is written in that poem wholly. Is that clear, ma? Here in this poem, he remembers the girl. She is her neighbor. She is his neighbor, and he was very shocked to see the sudden death of that little girl. So for her, he is writing a metaphysical elegy, lamenting of her death. Okay, they were remembering her liveliness she was filled with, energy she was filled with, but it was interrupted by the bells of the funeral. Okay, so they were very shocked. Is that clear? And they lament about the death of the girl. Okay, is it clear, ma? Okay. Here she is the girl, that is Whiteside's daughter. Here we'll have the summary and analysis of that poem. Here, the first paragraph. There was such a speed in her little body and such lightness in her footfall. It is no wonder her brown study astonishes us all. Here, Bells for John Whiteside's Daughter is written by the famous poet and new critic John Crowe Ransom. Is an elegy form lamenting the death of a lively small girl of his neighborhood. Understood, ma? It is very, very clearly said. It is a poetry. It is an elegy form lamenting the death of a lively small girl. Okay, they are lamenting. They are showing a grief. Okay, they are expressing their sorrow on the death of the lively small girl of his neighborhood. Okay, as this poem is an elegy, dominates the traditional form of elegy where we find the nostalgic description of the past. Nostalgic description, that is feeling of the past and the present. Yes, of course, in this poem he feels for the past, how she was very lively and energetic, what are all the things she was doing when she was alive. Okay, that is nostalgic description of the past. The speaker recalls the speed in her little body. That is, in the first stanza, he tells that there was such speed in her little body and such lightness in her footfall. It is no wonder her brown study astonishes all. That is, the speaker recalls that the speed in her little body, the lightness, the quarrel at home that used to resonate everywhere, and she used to play like the ghost in her world. Her words were bruited in our high window. We looked among orchard trees and beyond, where she took arms against her shadow or hurried on to the pond. That is, and she used to play like a goose in her world. She used to make noise that attracted the attention of the neighbors. Her play with her own shadow was funny and childish. Okay, she used to play with her own shadow. She opens her arm against her shadow. Okay, and she hurried on to the pond. Hurried, feeling strained, harassed. Pond, a small area filled with water. Bruited, that is murmuring. Astonishes, that is greatly surprised, impressed. Is that clear, ma? Okay. All this description seems to remain the beauty of the little girl, who is now lying senseless and energyless. These are the things in the both the stanzas he says about the liveliness and beauty of that little girl. Okay, but now she is lying senseless and energyless. Okay, she has gone forever with the dead. Yes, of course. When someone dies, what happens? They will be like still. There is no movement in their body. Yes or no? Yes. She has gone forever with the dead. The unexpected toll of bells on the death of the little girl angers the neighbors. Okay, there is an unexpected death of the little girl. Okay, all the elegies ends with the consolation and our acceptance of the truth. That is, all the elegy should be ends with consolation. Consolation, they have to console themselves, and acceptance of the truth. That is the acceptance of the truth that everyone should die one or the other day. Okay, that is the acceptance, universality, truth. Is it clear? Okay. The speaker, recalling the beauty of the dead girl, feels sad. He becomes ready to offer the bells for her. This readiness for the bells is nothing more than the acceptance of the undeniable, that is unavoidable situation. Is it clear? Unable to deny. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Then the theme of the poem is the confrontation of a human being with a death. That is confrontation, that is face to face. Okay, that is unavoidable, and it is the ultimate truth of life. When someone unexpectedly faces the bells on the funeral, and then they feel that they too are mortal and near to death all the time. That is the loss of the beauty of a vibrant life. Ransom uses elegy as an opportunity to represent southern culture. Bells are the parts of the southern culture in the poem. Okay, south country. Okay, this poem is interrupted not as an elegy on the death of a girl, but as an elegy for the passing of the beauty. Every beautiful thing is a subject to decay, and this poem is lamentation on the decay of the beauty. Okay, everything should be destroyed one day. Okay, one day we have to return to God. So one or the other day we have to accept the truth of the university, that is universality. Okay, in the historical point of view, this poem may have a different interpretation until World War II. The South was almost defeated. Its beauty had gone now. Some of the people accept that what has gone, but commit to re-energize the lost beauty of the South. This poem can be interpreted as the Southern voice. Here, the theme of the poem is that an unexpected death jolts people into confronting the fragility of life. Jolt, shakes. Okay, fragility, easy to broke, and inscrutability of the forces that end life. Inscrutability, impossible to understand the situation, what is happening, the forces that ends life. Although they may mourn the loss of the spirited presence on the grass outdoors, they also mourn for themselves in the realization that they too are mortal, and that they too will one day become a brown study. As John Donne wrote in Meditation, devotions upon emergent occasions. What is brown study? This is a term that means a state of deep thought. Okay, here the thinker, it filled with deep thought. Rhyme scheme and meter. In this stanza, the first line rhymes with third line, and second line rhymes with the fourth line. Okay, for example, you can see that is body, one and third, that is 13 and 14, 17 and 19. The meter and line length vary. Here, grass, alas, cloud, proud, beyond, pond, window, shadow. Okay, rise, skies, ready, steady, stopped, propped. Is that clear? Okay. Here allusions. Took arms against. These words appear to allude. That girl took arms against her own shadow. Okay, it alludes to those used words by Shakespeare's Hamlet. When in this famous soliloquy, he considered whether to take arms against the sea of troubles or by opposing end them. Hamlet's main flaw was his indecisiveness. The little girl, by contrast, does not deliberately, she acts. Okay, like a childish act, she opens her arm against her shadow. Okay, now go the bell. Line 70. These words may allude to the following famous lines by meditation. That is in the 17th line. But now go the bells, and we are ready. In one house we are sternly stopped. These words may allude to the following famous lines from Meditation 17 of John Donne, Devotions upon Emergent Occasions. That is, each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Here, irony and metaphor. The expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous or emphatic effect. The lively little body is now lifeless. That is irony. Okay, primly propped, stiff and formal, while alive she lies. Metaphor, comparison of unliking things without using like, as or than. Here, dripping there snow, comparison of goose feathers of melting snow. Simile, comparison of unliking things like, as or than. Okay, like the lazy geese, like a snow cloud, comparison of the geese to a cloud. Is that clear, ma? Okay. Here symbols. Symbols, the green grass appears to symbolizes life. The sleepy geese and the comparison of their feathers to snow may symbolizes to death. The little girl who is full of life chases the geese into the pond. Her actions suggest that she, like most children, does not dwell on death and does not exhibit any fear of it. Here, figure of speech. Following are examples of the figure of speech from the poem. That is alliteration, repetition of consonant words. There was such speed in her little body and such lightness in her footfall. Green grass, rod that made them rise, stern stopped, primely propped. Okay, these are all the alliterations. Okay, here attitude of the speaker. The little suggests that the poem's speaker was not close to the little girl and therefore reacts to her death more with shock than grief, because the writer, the speaker, is not very close with that little girl. He used to see that girl from his window, so he was shocked more than grief. Okay, after all, if he had regularly befriended her, he most likely would have used her first name in the little and in the poem. Okay, how we will know that he was not closed? Because he is not using her name. Okay, instead of using her name, he is using a little girl, so we think that he is not close to her. He is not very close to her. Instead, he refers to her as John Whiteside's daughter in the little. Okay, he is not mentioning her name, the little girl name. In the poem, he uses pronouns and the little lady to refer to her. Is that clear? Okay. That is universality. The poem can stand as a reflection on how death can affect anyone in any culture at any time or place. It therefore remains relevant today and will continue to remain relevant for all readers of English language poetry. That is, the universality truth should be accepted. Okay, there is no change in it. Is that clear? Okay. This is orchard. Okay, it refers in this poem. You see this. This is called orchard, a garden or a area full of trees, grass, like that. Okay, and this is geese. Okay, in the pond she chases geese. Okay, with rod she plays with geese. Okay, a large bird, a water bird. Is that clear, ma? Okay, here this is the pond, a small area filled with water. It is called as pond. Is it clear now? Okay, here in this poem he says that there was such speed in her little body and such lightness in her footfall, it is no wonder her brown study astonishes us all. The death of the lively little girl shocks neighbors who used to observe her while she was outdoor. Okay, it is a shock to them, it astonishes them. Okay, that is a surprise to them. Okay, is it clear? Okay, her word was bruited, that is murmuring in our high window. We looked among orchard trees and beyond, where she took arms against her shadow or hurried unto the pond. That is, her sound impresses us. Okay, we used to see her from our windows. Okay, where she was playing with the geese are in the orchard. Okay, the lazy geese like a snow cloud, dripping their snow on the green grass, tickling and stopping sleepy and proud, who cried in goose alas. Now, the lazy geese, that is the bird, a large water bird. They are really lazy. They are not at all standing or going here and there. They used to sit. Okay, it is like it is like that. It is very lazy for them. What she is doing, she is picking one rod and make them raise from their laziness. Okay, lazy routine. Is it clear? Okay, for the tireless heart within the little lady with rod that made them rise from their noon apple dreams and scuttle goose fashion under the skies. There is dripping cloud as a spread that melts, tricking outline or outwit. Goose is a past tense of the bird, that is geese, a large water bird. Alas, that is expressing grief. Scuttle, short, quick step. Is it clear? In the last stanza, they says that, but now go to the bells, and we are ready. In one house, we are sternly stopped in a seriousness. Okay, to say we are vexed at her brown study, vexed, very upset. Okay, to say we are vexed at her brown study, lying so primly propped. That is, when someone dies, we will wrap them in a cloth. Okay, that is primly propped. She was always so energetic and so full of noise and mischief, playful. She would make war against her shadow and sometimes roast sleepy geese, which were no doubt dreaming of eating apples from a nearby orchard, and chase them across the green grass and into a pond. Okay, these are all the very beautiful things. Okay, the poet has written very beautifully, very keenly observing. Okay, when the funeral bells, the last bells toll, the neighbors are vexed. Okay, they are very upset, and they are gathered in one house, and they are ready to perform the last bell. Okay, child who was only recently so full of life is now silent, primely propped. Line. Okay, that is, she was lifeless. Is that clear? At last, what happens? They accepts the truth, that is universality, universal truth. Okay, is it clear, ma? Okay, it is a lamenting poem, that is the poet expresses his grief to the little girl, is it clear, who was very lively and energetic, but now the sudden death of that little girl astonishes him. Is it clear, ma? Okay. Okay, girls, thank you so much. Hope you people have understood. These are all things that is mentioned. That is the bell, that is the funeral bell. Here the bird is shown, that is the geese, and the grass filled with the cloud, the snow. Okay, is that clear? That is okay, ma. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Allah Hafiz.